What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys. I'm really excited about this episode, everyone, of the show. We have a ton of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. So guys, our first topic of the day is going to be talking about FaZe Ramos, one of my personal favorite members of FaZe Clan, who is now a former member because he ended up quitting a long time ago. And what I wanted to do was go ahead and talk a little bit about kind of how I found FaZe Ramos, obviously through FaZe Clan, but I wanted to talk about why this guy was so significant to the community and what he's doing now, and could we see an eventual, not only comeback, but also a return to FaZe Clan, which I think would be absolutely awesome. So let's talk about it. So guys, if you go on to FaZe Ramos's, his Twitter account, you're going to see that he's actually been tweeting a lot more as of late than he used to. So he pretty much, guys, he took a very long hiatus from YouTube, and I have a number of reasons why I believe he kind of took a break from YouTube as well as just from playing video games. Of course, everyone knows him for Call of Duty. Well, here's the thing, guys. I think that Ramos, number one of the reasons why he didn't become one of the biggest FaZe Clan members was because he was simply just a trick shotter in FaZe Clan, which of course, guys, trick shotting on Call of Duty was very big back in the days of Modern Warfare 2 as well as Black Ops 2, and he was one of the best in the world at trick shotting. I would say in particular, Modern Warfare 2, he was absolutely unstoppable when it came to trick shotting. You can even see tweets from back in 2017, Dashy, who of course is on Optic Gaming, tweeted saying FaZe Ramos was the greatest trick shotter ever. I'm not going to say he was the greatest trick shotter ever. I think that he was the greatest MW2 trick shotter ever. But, I mean, he's certainly in the top 5 ever when it came to trick shotting, and I don't think that's really up for debate. But FaZe Ramos was, of course, one of those great trick shotters. In Modern Warfare 2, even into Black Ops 2, he was really good as well. But here's the thing. He came out with a number of different episodes and montages, and I think what really happened, and the reason why he could be an absolute, he could have become one of the biggest people in FaZe Clan had he not only continued uploading, but evolved his channel into more IRL-based videos, in my opinion. If you look on his YouTube channel, you'll see that he has amassed 292,000 subscribers. And I think a lot of those subscribers have actually, he had more than this. I think that a lot of people just ended up unsubscribing to his channel because he wasn't uploading for a long period of time. If you look at his uploads, you're going to see that the last time that he uploaded was, of course, 1 week ago. But this is more the comeback, in my opinion. If you look before that, it was a year, he did a FaZe Ramos in real life, the face reveal, which is what everyone wanted a long time ago. Two of the members of FaZe Clan that people really wanted a face reveal for was not only Ramos, but his co-partner when it came to some of the episodes that they came out with, that being Z-Jim. Both of them, everyone wanted to see face reveals, and they never did it. Obviously, you can see Best of FaZe Ramos, which was, of course, a year ago as well. But before that, you're going to see FaZe Ramos had an insane SNR kill cam on Advanced Warfare. That was 5 years ago, guys. So basically, he took about 3.5 to 4 years off of YouTube completely, and I really hadn't seen him tweeting at all either on Twitter. Well, more recently than not, it looks like he's starting to try to make a comeback. Now, he's still stating that he is FaZe Ramos, as everyone knows him, of course, but he's not officially a part or officially a member of FaZe. Now, FaZe has been tweeting out saying Ramos still has got it. He's certainly still one of the best trick shotters on MW2 because he has been hitting a lot of trick shots. And of course, with Black Ops 2 Plutonium, which is something we're going to be talking about later on in the show, he's also been hitting shots on there. So he's trying to, I think, make a full-blown comeback. I think he wants to come back to FaZe. And in my opinion, I really think that I don't understand why he took so long to do this face reveal, if he really felt that he was just kind of one of those individuals that didn't want people to know what he looked like. He was very kind of private about those things. But I personally think, guys, you see 1 year ago, the FaZe Ramos in real life face reveal, this should have happened 5 years ago. It should have happened after that FaZe Ramos insane SNR kill cam on Advanced Warfare, maybe even before that. People wanted to see his face. And guys, if you look at the pictures of FaZe Ramos, he's a good looking dude. This guy's basically like a surfer. He looks really, really ripped. And I don't know why he did not, ever show his face to YouTube. But obviously, guys, he's made a comeback. And this kind of leads me into, where he could be headed at this point. Because what happened, in my opinion, I just think that he was behind the curve with FaZe Clan as to what FaZe was doing, and he was kind of living somewhat in the past, that being continuing to hit trick shots instead of doing IRL-based videos, which is what everybody wanted, and that's where the trends were turning and changing. Now, there are guys who evolved their channel but continue doing trick shotting, that being like FaZe Linksy, who is still in FaZe to this day, still creating content around trick shotting and sniping. And Ramos could have easily done something like that, but I think he could have even been bigger than Linksy, because Ramos had he was such a strong name in Call of Duty for a period of time. Linksy didn't really come until BO2, whereas Ramos was there in MW2, and that's where he was really building his following. So it's really sad what happened with Ramos. I think that there's certainly probably some regret there that he didn't just continue doing this and continue doing trick shots, but really evolving his channel into IRL-based stuff, like some vlogs and things of that nature. Because obviously, guys, he's a good-looking dude, and I mean, honestly, I don't know why he would have never done that if he was just self-conscious about the way he looked at the time. It's hard to say, but nonetheless, I'm really glad to basically state here, and I think a lot of us can of course agree with this, from looking at his Twitter account and even on YouTube, uploading 1 week ago, this is a guy who is making a comeback. He's talking about coming back. He wants to join FaZe. He's tried to join FaZe because people have said to him, hey, Ramos, so are you in FaZe? And he says, no, but I'm trying to get back there. So that's something else that you really got to kind of look at. And he's still hitting insane shots. This guy it's almost like he picked up right where he left off, still hitting incredible shots on Modern Warfare 2, even on Black Ops 2 Plutonium. And I gotta say, guys, I just gotta say that Ramos making a comeback would be absolutely epic. It would be an incredible thing, seeing him actually come back fully to the YouTube scene, to actually, just becoming more of a content creator instead of, just, doing trick shots and things of that nature. Sure, he built his fan base from trick shotting, but it would be awesome to see him do the trick shotting, but also get into streaming, doing IRL based videos, kind of vlogging and stuff, and maybe having another chance at joining FaZe. Because why wouldn't he have a chance at joining FaZe? You see other guys coming back into the community like Gwit, and who's quit like so many times, right? You would think that a guy like Ramos, who kind of left FaZe, or kind of was, I wouldn't say kicked, but he was kind of pushed out because, of course, the changes that were happening in FaZe. I don't know. I think that personally, Ramos would get another chance at joining FaZe Clan, and I don't see why they wouldn't allow him to come back. But that being said, guys, this leads me into obviously what my prediction is moving forward for FaZe Ramos. I actually believe that this guy is going to rejoin FaZe. Because as we see from this tweet, FaZe Clan tweeted saying the year is 2020 and FaZe Ramos still owns High Rise. So obviously they see that Ramos is back. They see it. I mean, this video alone, this video that they posted on Twitter, got over 243,000 views. And so that's basically telling you that trickshotting is making a full-blown comeback, which we'll talk about here shortly with Plutonium. But even with Modern Warfare 2, Ramos is still owning High Rise, still an incredible player. I just want to see him evolve his channel now. That, it's better late than never, right? I mean, I think we can all agree to that. It's certainly better late than never when it comes to, Ramos coming back, or really any of these great guys coming back. And so it would be awesome. I'm not going to lie, guys. It would be really awesome to see Ramos come back fully. That would be amazing. As we can see from his Twitter account, it says, known as FaZe Ramos, former member of FaZe Clan from 2011 to 2014. So he was a member of the team for a while. And obviously, 2014 and now, I mean, we're talking quite some time, right? It's 2020. And I think that Ramos very well knows that he made some mistakes, not, continuing the YouTube thing, seeing all these other guys with all the success that they have. And so now he may very well have decided to move forward and start coming back to the trick shotting, sniping communities, but also maybe evolving his channel over time. But let me know what you guys think. Would you guys like to see Ramos come back on a full-time basis, try to join FaZe once again, and, go with, of course, do what he's so good at, that being trick shotting, but also evolving his channel into more of an IRL-based channel, as well as maybe even making some vlogs. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and let's have a real conversation about it. Crysis 4 is a game that I want to see made at some point here in the very near future, because Crysis, guys, is a franchise that I found was one of my favorites to play. Back in the day on the Xbox 360 days, I really enjoyed playing Crysis. It was a game that kind of was somewhat transcendent as far as the graphics were concerned. Of course, especially with the first Crysis on PC, people always were talking about that. I remember we would talk about, oh, can your computer run Crysis? And everyone wanted to have the best gaming PC possible, to have the best graphics, or be able to push Crysis to its very limits. And that's exactly what really started a significant following of Crysis and the franchise. Then you had Crysis 2, which I absolutely loved, and Crysis 3, which was still pretty good, and the graphics were even better than Crysis 2 in Crysis 3. I don't think anything really matched the original Crysis, but nonetheless, Crytek, the developers of Crysis, of course, have hinted at possibly bringing Crysis back. They have also, of course, are the ones who are working on Hunt Showdown, which, of course, already came out quite some time ago. And so we've got a really good feel for Hunt Showdown, really great. That's why I would trust Crytek with making a new Crysis game. And I think that it's really deserved at this point. Like, we really want this at this point. Now, in this article that was written in 2012, even though this was written in 2012, guys, I still found this a very good article for even today, because the next Crysis won't be called Crysis 4. Free-to-play is our inevitable future, says Crytek. The Crysis saga will endure beyond Crysis 3's culminating events, but not under the name Crysis 4, Crytek has revealed. Speaking to Eurogamer, Crytek CEO Savat Yurli discussed the future of the visually voluptuous franchise beyond Crysis 3 and mentioned a future free-to-play version of Crysis. I wouldn't name it Crysis 4 at this stage because it would be misleading, he said. We want to finalize Prophet's story, and Crysis 4 would imply the story just moves on. But we are excited about the DNA of Crysis and of the franchise. There can be literally tons of titles out there within the franchise. Unlike Far Cry, this time around, we feel very flexible about Crysis. So normally Crytek would already be beginning pre-production on the next Crysis, but Yurli says the next iteration's radical direction could mean more of a lull between it and Crysis 3. Now we do know, guys, that obviously there was Crysis 3, and then you had Crysis, what was the name of it? Crysis Warface or something like that, which I did not even play that one. Obviously that was kind of like a side, side story to the main Crysis. I guess you would say the main Crysis narrative that they were kind of pushing for. A free-to-play Crysis, guys, in today, right now, would be absolutely huge. I'm telling you, it would be huge. A free-to-play Crysis game could, really be something like a Fortnite or like a Apex Legends, if you think about it. I'm not saying necessarily going the Battle Royale route, but if you just made it a free-to-play game right now, Crysis would be huge. Because we want to make this something much more radical and new, we're looking at it as a bit more of a long-term thing, Yurley explained. It's too early to talk about it for these reasons. Yurley equipped an equally strong silencer on any details surrounding the free-to-play Crysis project, as its infancy prevented any solid information from emerging. We do have a plan for a free-to-play version of Crysis, but how this looks and when this will be done, whether this is the next one or the next one, is to be decided. He said, I believe free-to-play is our inevitable future. I believe there are free-to-play titles out there that can be storytelling and cooperative with your friends and competitive with your friends. It's all possible. The business model is independent from the way you design games. It's a very important thing. People always make these things independent, but it's actually completely independent. So, look, guys, a Crysis free-to-play game would be absolutely huge. Now, even if it's not called Crysis 4, you know, I think at this point, now I'm pretty sure the Crysis Warface or whatever it was called, I don't believe the sales were that great for it. And that being said, though, you know, Yurley is basically stating that even if it wasn't, you know, the next one, which obviously we had the Crysis Warfighter or Warface, whatever it was, the next one might very well be the Crysis 4 that we're talking about. That would be like a Crysis free-to-play game. I would honestly make it just called Crysis or Crysis, you know, Evolved or whatever, and make it a free-to-play game where you have maybe, you know, some stories or like some, you know, stories explain what's going on with Prophet or what's been happening. And then you also have a free-to-play multiplayer, and then who knows, maybe even a battle royale. Who knows? But I do think that they're kind of testing these things out with Hunt Showdown. We kind of see from Hunt Showdown it being primarily a multiplayer experience. You're kind of seeing what they're trying different things out, and maybe they implement a lot of the things that work well in Crysis in that universe. That would be something that I would absolutely love to have a real conversation about, because at this point, where is Crysis 4? Well, this was written in 2012. So Yurley said this back in 2012. I mean, we're talking like 8 years ago, close to 8 years ago, guys. And so obviously games take a long time to develop. They take a long time to make, and obviously Crytek was working on Hunt Showdown after, you know, kind of working on a bunch of Crysis projects. Hunt Showdown was kind of their new thing. I would assume that they're going to be coming back to Crysis here within, I would say, probably the next couple of years. We could very well see a Crysis 4 or a Crysis free-to-play game. Let me know what you guys think. Would you guys like to see another Crysis sequel or even a side story, whatever it might be? Do you want to see Crysis return to gaming consoles, to PCs and such, and have another chance at fresh life, maybe into the next generation of consoles? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. So Black Ops 5 is going to be, of course, a pretty highly anticipated entry into the Call of Duty franchise, especially following up the success of Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare. And so there's a lot of speculation and rumors, leaks, things of that nature that have been coming out about Black Ops 5. Well, in today's topic, we're going to be talking about everything we know so far about this title. So let's talk about it. So guys, this article was written by Gfinity, and this was written, and Black Ops 5, the release date, zombies beta, gameplay, trailer, multiplayer, campaign, all the different things that we need to know for the Call of Duty in 2020. So Modern Warfare 2019 is still fresh, but players are already longing to see what Season 2 has for them, and many are hopeful for a Battle Royale mode. Better yet, with the new console generation soon here, COD fans are turning their attention to COD 2020. Call of Duty has dominated the first-person shooter genre for multiple years and continues to break sale records, and Black Ops 5 is definitely the most rumored game in the franchise's history. With the most recent Modern Warfare reboot, could COD 2020 follow a similar trend? Plenty of rumors have emerged surrounding Modern Warfare 2 Remastered and a Black Ops reboot. So what do we know so far about Black Ops 5? Here's all the latest details and information. Before we go any further, that was something that I was kind of stating in other videos, guys, on the channel, I had talked about how since Modern Warfare got a reboot, I feel like Black Ops may very well be getting a reboot as well, and that would be something that would be very interesting, to say the least, to see kind of what they're thinking as far as, would it be a reboot or is it actually going to be called Black Ops 5? We'll obviously have to kind of wait and see. So number one, who is developing Black Ops 5? Treyarch Studios will be breaking the traditional 3-year cycle to produce the next Call of Duty game. This is due to the fact that there was a massive overhaul and shift in the development team from Sledgehammer to Treyarch, which occurred during 2019. This all came via a leak in that Treyarch's 2021 title is now being brought forward due to development trouble at Sledgehammer, who will now be helping to support the title. So this is very concerning, and I've stated this before. It's very concerning. This part of it is that Treyarch obviously was slated to make Black Ops 5 in 2021, but now it's changing to 2020. It may not end up being that big of a deal because Treyarch, instead of working on campaign and multiplayer and zombies, they can focus on the multiplayer, whereas Sledgehammer can focus on the campaign, which Sledgehammer did a very good job in the campaign for World War II, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. And so I think I would trust Sledgehammer with that. I wouldn't trust Sledgehammer with the multiplayer, and I think it's smart to have Treyarch doing that. Release date and platforms. There, of course, is no official release date for Black Ops 5 at this point in time. For the past 2 years, the game has been released in October, but prior to this was known for releasing in November. It's likely it will launch in October again, but it wouldn't be a surprise to see Treyarch use every spare moment they have to get this as polished for launch. I would agree with this. I'd probably say it's going to come out in November this year. The game will almost certainly launch for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and eventually Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 once they launch. A Call of Duty game has not appeared on a Nintendo device since Call of Duty Ghosts on Wii U. It's likely that Treyarch has been developing their new title for the PS5 and Xbox Series X and would then later develop a port for Xbox One and PS4. However, if they aim to launch this game prior to the release of next-generation platforms, they will need to develop the game and engine to suit the current generation of consoles. It would be no surprise to see them use the Modern Warfare engine to speed up the development process. I agree with this as well. Modern Warfare was unbelievable as far as the campaign was concerned. I love the multiplayer as well. I think it's a great step forward for Call of Duty, but the campaign is absolutely incredible. I've said this on multiple occasions. Best campaign I've ever played as far as within the Call of Duty realm ever, and I've played a lot of the Call of Duty campaigns. The graphics were incredible. The story was so well done. So I'm excited to see, will they maybe, do some of the things that they did with the Modern Warfare engine and move that into Black Ops 5. It'll be very interesting. So, what is Black Ops 5? A few leaks have revealed what the name for COD 2020 might be. Obviously, Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty Black Ops 5 would be the two. And so I don't really think there's anybody thinking that, I would say it's probably going to be Call of Duty Black Ops, but maybe it's Call of Duty, Black Ops 5 or Black Ops V. The game name is still unconfirmed, but it's no surprise that Treyarch will remain within the Black Ops franchise. YouTuber Long Sensation leaked that the game has two possible names. Whether it's a reboot of the original Black Ops game or a continuation of the franchise remains to be confirmed. Leaks can be hard to trust. However, Long Sensation shared the 2019 Call of Duty Modern Warfare title before its official reveal. So what Long Sensation said was, he said that obviously Black Ops V or Black Ops 5, and then the other one was just Black Ops. And then it's set during the Cold War, spans the entire 40 plus years, and includes Vietnam and the Korean War, described as even more gritty and gruesome than Modern Warfare. He says, I'm not joking. So this would be an interesting take. I love the futuristic games as far as like futuristic as in not like jetpacks and things of that nature, but boots on the ground and somewhat a little bit futuristic where you've got like some futuristic guns. That's a lot of fun, but this could be really refreshing, a Cold War type setting for Black Ops. That would be pretty cool. He claims that the game is set during the Cold War and will span the 40 years including Vietnam and Korean War. A Reddit user originally claimed that Sledgehammer Games were creating Call of Duty Vietnam until Treyarch took over. It is described as being more gritty and gruesome than Modern Warfare, a major talking point surrounding this year's Call of Duty campaign. Considering the development cycle has ultimately been cut short by 1 year, it's easy to see how this game could be rushed and heavily scaled back in terms of ambitions. Black Ops 4, for a game that was being developed for 3 years, was extremely reminiscent of Black Ops 3 to the point it was hard to distinguish the two. That's absolutely false. I don't like when people compare BO3 with BO4. Sure, maybe it looks a little bit similar, but the fact that one game is boots on the ground and one is jetpacks makes it completely different. MW2 Remastered. Despite the efforts from Treyarch to get the game out on time, it would be no surprise to see the game get delayed and the void filled with the rumored MW2 Remastered, which a lot of people obviously want for many reasons. MW2 Remastered was the subject to much speculation in 2019 as the European Ratings Board gave a PEGI rating of 18 for a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign remastered. Towards the end of May 2019, Australian fans noticed that the classified board listed Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered as 15+. This could be targeted towards the campaign, although plenty have noted that this rating is quite low for a campaign. They argued it would receive a higher rating if it was the subject of this rating, leading many to believe it is talking about a multiplayer. So leaks and rumors suggest that MW2 Remastered would launch with Modern Warfare, similar to how Modern Warfare Remastered launched with Infinite Warfare. But due to the great reception it received, rumors suggest that the idea was sacked. Now, as far as multiplayer is concerned, the multiplayer has had no official details revealed, and it's unlikely we'll see much until the summer. In the past few years, this has been done as a live stream reveal within the developer studios. For Modern Warfare, they revealed an alpha version of the gunfight game mode hosted by 4 influencers. What we can confirm is that it will not have jetpacks thanks to David Vonderhaar's recent tweet. A Twitter user said, "You better have jetpacks in the next COD," or "You better have jetpacks." And David Vonderhaar said no. So, kudos to David Vonderhaar for saying no, because we don't want jetpacks. We don't want to go back to the dark ages of COD. We want to keep moving forward and continuing that success of Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare. The beta. Since Black Ops 3, a beta for the Call of Duty multiplayer has released without fail. Last year's first beta launched September 12th, just a month out from launch. Treyarch would be wise to put out a beta as early as possible and use this time extensively to smooth out any bugs and issues with the game, especially as their development time has been cut by a third. Campaign. The campaign has traditionally been revealed at E3, but developers and publishers are starting to steer away from big reveals at this event, Activision included. Modern Warfare was revealed shortly before E3 2019, and it's likely the necessary information will unfold around this time. If it's a true reboot, we could see famous Black Ops characters reintroduced, similar to Captain Price in Modern Warfare. And then, of course, zombies. I'm not like a massive fan of zombies, but I know there's a lot of zombies fans out there. The main zombie storyline came to an anticlimactic conclusion during Black Ops 4's DLC 4. The map, which was called Tag der Totem, was a remake of the Black Ops 1 Zombies map Call of the Dead. In the final map, you play as the Victus crew and aim to solve the paradox that has unfolded and strive to put an end to the chaotic story that has unfolded over the past 10 years. With the conclusion of this, we can comfortably say that the story will not be continued. If this is a true reboot, we will likely start a new story. It still remains to be seen whether the characters in the past will return with a new story, as the ending to the previous one left a bad taste in the mouths of zombies fans. So, I've heard a lot of people stating that they were pretty upset with how Black Ops 4's DLC 4 ended, but nonetheless, I'm sure that they're going to probably make up for some of that with this, the addition of Black Ops 5 or the reboot of Call of Duty Black Ops. As far as weapons go, guys, we're not really going to get into that. We can always, of course, if it's going to be a Cold War type game, of course the weapons are gonna kind of be as such, but we don't know if it's Cold War. We just heard that from a leak, so we're not really sure yet, so I'm not really going to get into that. As far as maps go, no information about maps has been revealed, but you can expect to see some remakes resurface. It wouldn't be a Black Ops title without Nuketown. You should expect to see a version of the chaotic model village reappear as a core map or pre-order bonus, as has been the theme in the past. Plenty of fans have been quick to criticize recycled content with Modern Warfare with the release of Crash and Vacant in Season 1. Call of Duty players will hope to see plenty of unique maps, but again, with the development time being cut drastically, a large portion of the maps will likely be a remake or inspired variations. Black Ops 4 launched with 14 maps, 4 of which were remakes. So, guys, here's what I'll say about it. I'm very excited to see what this take is with Black Ops 5 or Call of Duty Black Ops as a soft reboot like they did with Modern Warfare. My thought is, I think it's going to be called Black Ops, and it's going to be a soft reboot once again. And I think what they'll end up doing is if it's Cold War, I'll be very interested to see that. The thing that really stands out to me is it's more gritty and gruesome than Modern Warfare. And we all know that Modern Warfare's campaign was pretty gritty. It was pretty gruesome as well. So that coming up, obviously that's going to raise some controversies without a doubt. But I'm very excited about this. I'm excited to see, obviously get more information. I'll keep you all up to speed on as that information comes out, because I'm very excited about the new Black Ops iteration, whether that be Black Ops 5, Black Ops, whatever it might be. I'm all in on this. What do you guys think about it? Let me know what you guys think, and let's have a conversation about it, and I will keep you all up to speed as further information comes out. So our next topic of the day is going to be about Fable and the future of Fable, because we haven't seen a Fable sequel or continuation after Fable 3 for quite some time, and there's more and more information coming out, that being an announcement that Fable 4 is in development. And here's kind of everything that we know so far about the game, because this is a title that a lot of people are talking about, that are very excited, and they're hoping for an official announcement this year. So Fable 4 is coming, and here's everything that we know so far. This is an article that was written by Tech Radar by Emma Boyle. Despite Fable being one of Microsoft's most beloved exclusive IPs, we haven't seen a mainline installment since Fable 3 was released way back in 2010. That's nearly a whole decade without a follow-up. It is a decade, because if it got announced this year, it's probably not coming out until at least next year, maybe even 2022. Of course, it hasn't been all quiet on the Fable front. There was an unsuccessful attempt to pivot to an online games as service model with Fable Legends, but that was followed by the eventual closure of original developer Lionhead Studios, which meant many thought we'd never experience another traditional single-player Fable adventure. However, when Xbox boss Phil Spencer said in early 2017 that the series wasn't dead and still had places to go, hopes were understandably raised. More recently, reports have emerged that Playground Games, the developer behind the Forza Horizon series, is working on the fourth Fable game. Now, it looks like we have a bit more to go on than rumors after an alleged Fable 4 leak found its way into the wild and the details were published on Reddit. We've put together everything you need to know regarding the news and rumors about Fable 4. So, if we cut to the chase, what is it? The fourth game in the Xbox exclusive open world RPG series. What can I play it on? Xbox and PC most likely. And when can I play it? Nothing confirmed yet, but even if it is, it'll still be some time. And then the release date, given that Fable 4 hasn't actually been confirmed yet, and we sadly don't have the prophetic powers of the games is soothsaying Teresa, it'd be hard to pin down any kind of release date for Fable 4. However, back in 2018, Eurogamer posted that development on the game was in its very early stages, with rumored developer Playground Games still hiring to boost team numbers up to around 200. Of course, that news feels a little old now, but it's all we have to go on at the moment. So taking it with a grain of salt, we may not see the next Fable game until 2021, 2020 if we're being optimistic. So there's been a lot of news. There's been a lot of rumors. One thing from Reddit on June 3rd, 2019, Reddit user LagSwag1 published details of an alleged Fable 4 leak. The details come from a video that's since been removed and which we haven't seen ourselves, which details a few key features of the fourth installment, including both first and third person perspectives and an in-depth character creator, no guns, the option to ignore the main quest, the option for players to build towns, multiplayer, and running on Unreal Engine. Wow, that's a lot to take in. If that wasn't enough to throw your head in a spin, two more details have emerged from the leak. The first is that the land of Albion, where the game is set, could be no more, with different worlds and planets to explore, and to access these planets, there could be a time travel element via a demon door. This is clearly a huge departure from the original Fable games, but it sounds ambitious and exciting too. We also expected nothing less given past iterations of the game made huge leaps time-wise between each installment. Jumping possibly centuries in the future to a time when time travel tech is around makes a lot of sense. However, that's porting over old ideas of how the game progresses onto the new idea. Maybe this will take us back to the past of the first game, but with time travel elements added in. The leak suggested the reason for the new planets is that someone got control of the magic spire and used it to destroy the planet, which means we might not be in the future at all. These are all just guesses, of course, but it's fun to speculate. And that's the thing. These are all guesses, guys. We really have absolutely no idea where this is going. Right? I mean, there's so many different ways in which the Fable series could go. And we could talk till we're blue in the face about it being one way or another, but until we get further information, it sounds pretty much like a Fable 4 has been confirmed by Phil Spencer, but at the same time, we have no timetable as to when it's going to be coming out, right? I mean, sure, you would think probably in the next year or two, we're at least going to hear about it, because this was a very beloved franchise, and there's no debate about it amongst many people. In, you know, a lot of Xbox users and people just loved playing this game, myself included. But we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. As far as everything that we do know is that it's most likely coming, and that's the biggest thing, is that we're at least going to most likely see a new Fable here in the, foreseeable future. The game that Playground will reportedly be working on sounds rather similar to the vision Lionhead had for Fable 4 before its pitch was rejected and the studio was shut down. Prior to its closure, Lionhead had been working on Fable Legends, a free-to-play service game with a heavy emphasis on online multiplayer. This was quite a departure from Lionhead's previous Fable titles, and the studio hoped that it would be able to return to creating single-player story-driven adventures when development of Legends was complete. This didn't happen. Fable co-creator Simon Carter told Eurogamer that the news left him with mixed feelings, though he said it was great news for the UK games industry and he'd be pleased to return to Fable as a punter. He added that it's curious that Microsoft would get rid of development team that knows the franchise inside and out. And I gotta say, I do kind of agree with that as well. Why would they get rid of all those people? But our very first sign that the Fable franchise would one day return came from Xbox's own Phil Spencer. In early 2017, Spencer tweeted that though Microsoft had nothing to announce at the time, there were plenty of places the IP could go. It wasn't much to go on, but it added weight to reports that emerged in the aftermath of Lionhead's closure that Microsoft had turned down offers to buy the studio as it wanted to keep hold of the Fable license. So the things that we want to see. Many of these things, guys, we've already kind of discussed. Obviously we want to have an exciting story. The soundtrack, sure, that would be great to have a great soundtrack. We do want to see a multiplayer. There is no debate about that. The sense of humor, without a doubt, we'd love to see a really good sense of humor. And I think that sometimes people want to have choices as well as consequences for those choices. I like that idea. At the same time, I could skip out on the choices and consequences. I think that the choices that you make in the game, it all should just come to an end sort of thing, like where there's one way the game ends, and so you understand, okay, this is obviously a setup for the next game or whatever the case might be. I think when you have multiple endings, then there's just going to be so much speculation around this. And since it's a game that hasn't been out for 10 years, I would say, make it more of a finalized finale. Make it more like, okay, our choices are leading us to this moment, and that moment is going to be the same, but, having that freedom sometimes is fun. Knowing, though, that it's set in stone, what happens at the end, everyone else is seeing, and is it going to continue? Is it done at this point? It'll be very interesting. I hope you guys did, kind of enjoy this, even though we don't have a lot of information yet. We just know that it's most likely coming because Phil Spencer said so. And obviously, I'm very excited about it. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. What do you guys want to see the most in a Fable 4, a return to the Fable franchise? What do you guys want to see that we didn't talk about here? Let me know in the comment section below. So something I wanted to talk about with all of you and get your thoughts on it is Black Ops 2 Plutonium. Guys, a game mode that is absolutely awesome, that you have to own Black Ops 2 on Steam, which kind of is a bummer, but at the same time, it's still really cool. You get on there, you download the game on Steam, and then of course you can go onto Plutonium's website and download all the files needed, and then from there you get to jump right on in and you get to start playing Black Ops 2 Plutonium, which is pretty much focused around trick shotting and sniping, and something that back in 2008, 2009, I got really, really into. Something I really enjoyed doing, guys, was trick shotting. I like to snipe as well. They were just things that we all really enjoyed doing. It was just a lot of fun. I was never a great trick shotter. It was just, I was pretty good at sniping. I just wasn't that great at trick shotting. I hit, I hit a decent amount of shots, but nothing as complex as what these guys are doing nowadays on Plutonium, and that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Plutonium bringing the Call of Duty trick shotting and sniping communities back, because this was a community that has been going through some serious peaks and valleys, right? So there's guys out there who, to this day, before Plutonium had come out and all these different CODs, every Call of Duty that came out, they would continue trick shotting, hoping that the community would come back and that people would kind of start watching trick shotting again. Because there's guys like FaZe Linksy who still gets a decent amount of viewership based around his trick shotting and sniping videos, even though it's kind of, it's significantly gone down over time, because it was really it was somewhat of a niche thing. That being trick shotting and sniping overall, not so much sniping, but trick shotting was very niche. And it was a pretty big community, however, back in the Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2 days. And it always seemed like every new Call of Duty that came out, everyone would play that new COD, and then everyone would end up back on Black Ops 2 or MW2 to trick shot. And that was just kind of like how Call of Duty was within these communities for a long period of time. Now, Advanced Warfare, when that came out, people stayed on Advanced Warfare for a while because it was so different and so new, but even a lot of people still went back to Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 2. So it's only fitting that Black Ops 2 got Plutonium, where there is just, so many different types of trick shots that you can go for. But also, it's the lobbies themselves. Everybody's trick shotting, so everyone's just trying to trick shot, and then right after each match, after each time someone hits a shot or whatever it might be, it goes right into another game. And that's really cool. And so I got to say this. Trick shotting is back at this point because we even see guys like FaZe Rain, FaZe Adapt. Of course, Linksy, he's always kind of been there, but there's a number of FaZe clan members that are playing Plutonium. And what that tells me is that the community is the most alive when FaZe clan has their like stamp of approval or like they're the ones also playing, because we can always talk about the other trick shot and sniping teams, but none of them will ever be what FaZe Clan is and what they were in trick shotting and sniping back in the day of Call of Duty. So what I think this means is that there's a chance, especially that if FaZe decides to recruit someone from Plutonium into FaZe Clan, that would be absolutely huge. This also leads me to wonder, will there be a FaZe Clan recruitment challenge at some point in the future? We're going to talk about that here shortly on the show, but Plutonium, can you imagine a FaZe 5 based solely around Plutonium? I mean, I'm looking at it like when we used to trick shot and snipe on Call of Duty, I would have loved to have something like Plutonium back when we were doing that. Back when we were doing trick shot and sniping, man, Plutonium would be so sick back then. Obviously, we didn't have anything like that. It was always, you had to go into a search and destroy lobby, kill the entire team except for one person, and then you would try to trick shot the last person alive. And that was absolutely intense and very exciting. So I think that this is eliminating that somewhat, where it's almost like just trick shotting practice more than anything, even though you could do that on Black Ops 2 when you would go up against bots and such. But this is even, even more different than that. And people are actually, they're kind of accepting that this is a way that you can hit clips, which is really cool as well. It's like, why not? At this point, reputations and all of that stuff, even those things do still matter. It's like, look, it's 2020. We're having fun on Plutonium, trick shotting, sniping, whatever it might be. And here it is for everyone. And so I want to give massive credit and props to all the guys who have been working on Plutonium and came up with this idea and were able to, do the things necessary, whether that mean like, being partnered with Steam or whatever the case might be, in order to make this thing exist. It's absolutely amazing. I hope they do it for more Call of Duties in the future. And if they're able to, man, this could really see a revitalization of the Call of Duty trick shotting and sniping communities, which I think people would absolutely love, and to see trick shots and sniping clips and such come back. I think that would be absolutely amazing. But what do you guys think about Plutonium? What are your guys' thoughts on it? Do you think that this is going to be something something that we'll be playing for a long time? Do you guys think it's going to be something that is going to die out really quickly? Do you think it'll die out as soon as FaZe Clan stops playing it? Do you think it'll actually just get bigger and bigger, especially if a FaZe 5, a FaZe RC comes out based around Plutonium? That could be absolutely huge. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I would love to have a real conversation about it. Our last topic of the day, guys, on the show is going to be talking about FaZe 5 and talking about the FaZe Recruitment Challenge and what happened to it, because we have been talking, and I've made a lot of videos on the YouTube channel talking about FaZe 5 and really what that did for the trick shotting and sniping communities of Call of Duty. This was a recruitment challenge that everybody went for, no matter whether you were a pub stomper, a trick shotter, a sniper. Whatever you were always going to be going for FaZe 5 when they had them. And they had 2 FaZe 5s, 1 FaZe 1 RC. And we've been teased for so long a FaZe 5, a continuation of the famous recruitment challenge. But we have not seen it for a long time. Now, what I will say, guys, is that FaZe 5 very well may come out because of Plutonium, the popularity of Plutonium, and some of the FaZe members playing Plutonium. But at the same time, we had already been promised like over a year ago. Every year, or every couple of years, FaZe will make a video stating that FaZe 5 is coming. The last one that came out, they were talking about FaZe that the FaZe Recruitment Challenge is coming, but it's going to be based around Fortnite, and it never came out. And they actually, I believe, deleted the video. And so one thing that FaZe has a lot of power when it comes to the sniping and trickshotting communities, and a lot of these communities, just because a lot of the success of some of these other teams lies on the success of FaZe, or really on the the trick-shotting sniping side of FaZe, like when they were actually bringing out, content around that, it was really growing, continuing to grow Call of Duty, but in a different way. It was like building it in a way of the trick-shotting and sniping communities. That's how FaZe was really building, their angle of building Call of Duty. Whereas like Optic was building it from like an esports perspective and from more of a pub stomping perspective. FaZe was doing it from trick-shotting and sniping. So I give a lot of props and credit to FaZe for that. But man, like when is the teasing going to stop? I mean, I think that people would be able to accept if they came out with one more FaZe 5, we would all be super happy about it. And if they only did it one more time, that's fine. But here's the thing. The fact that they've come out with multiple videos stating that FaZe 5 is going to come out, and it still has not come out to this date at this point in 2020, has not come out yet. And you've made 2 videos on it. One was based around COD, the other was based around Fortnite, and we still are yet to see a continuation of FaZe 5, which I understand there's other things that they're working on behind the scenes, and that's all fine and dandy. But man, FaZe 5 was so big. It was so big. It was like a larger than life type of ordeal, like for people going for FaZe 5, putting so many hours into trying to have a chance at making it to the top 100, or making it as far as they could, because a lot of people actually who went for FaZe 5 and didn't make it, they still were able to make careers on YouTube because they were just because of that exposure. And so I think that FaZe 5, or just a FaZe Recruitment Challenge at this point, would be huge. I think it would be absolutely huge at this point. Whether you're talking Plutonium, whether you're talking Fortnite, or just any game, you're looking for content creators, you're looking for some trick shotters, some snipers, you're looking for all of these, different, in all different sectors. Like you pick one trick shotter, you pick one sniper, you pick one content creator, you pick one streamer, you pick whatever else, right? To me, it makes a lot of sense. But I just don't like that FaZe has teased us for so long and we still haven't gotten a, continuation of FaZe 5. If you were never planning on bringing it out, why make videos on it and then they delete them sometime after? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But here's what I will say. I think what happened to the FaZe 5 Recruitment Challenge, because it was based around trick-shotting and sniping in Call of Duty, when that started to fizzle out, obviously FaZe 5, there wasn't really a reason for them to continue it because they had moved on. FaZe had moved on from trick-shotting and sniping in Call of Duty, and they moved onwards to Fortnite and other games and IRL-based stuff, vlogs, things of that nature. So that's really what I think happened to it. The thing that bothers me, though, is why haven't we seen it when they've already made 2 videos stating that we were getting a FaZe 5? That's my only thing, even though I want to give them mad props. I know it's probably an absolute ton of work to do or pull off one of those FaZe Recruitment Challenges, going through the hundreds of hours of content and clips and all of that stuff. What I'll say, guys, is a FaZe 5 or just a FaZe Recruitment Challenge at this point, based around Plutonium, streaming, content creation, Fortnite, Apex, whatever game it is, would be absolutely huge. And I'm hoping, really hoping, that they come out with FaZe 5 or just a FaZe Recruitment Challenge here in the near future, because it is something that we've been talking about on the channel for a while. I think it would be absolutely awesome to see a FaZe 5. I think everybody would go for it in the communities. And I think that FaZe owes it to us because they've teased it twice and it still hasn't come out yet. I'm not saying that they really owe us anything, as the only reason why I'm saying that they owe us this is because they've teased it. If they would have never teased it, it's like, okay, we're not going to probably get another Phase 5. But since it's been teased, they should be giving it to us at least one more time, in my opinion. What do you guys think, though, about a Phase 5, a phase recruitment challenge, guys? A chance to join one of the biggest esports and gaming teams in the world. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.